Hello everyone, I am Jessime and I am going to discuss to you the definition of business case, and next is the 5 main functional areas of management. So, in the next slide, we have the definition of business case. So, a business case is a written or verbal value proposition that is intended to educate a decision maker and convince them to take some kind of action. So, I know some of you are familiar with business case. So, this is a either written or verbal value proposition for the business to educate the decision maker or to make a decision when there is a problem in a business. So when written, the document itself is sometimes referred to as a business case. So a business case is a written document or proposition. So at its simplest, a business case could be a spoken suggestion. So short-term actions leading to immediate, measurable, and substantial benefits are generally the easiest to argue. Next slide. So, for example, if a restaurant's manager notices that the business doesn't make enough money on Sunday evenings to cover operational costs, presenting that fact to the owner may be compelling enough to make the business case for closing the restaurant at 5 p.m. on Sundays. So, this is the problem. So, if the business doesn't make enough money on Sunday evenings, so they decided or suggested that the restaurant will close at 5 p.m. on Sundays. So that's a simple example of a business case, but it is kind of verbal. Next slide. So, for more complex issues, a business case should be presented in a carefully constructed document that provides the reader with information about the risks and rewards involved in taking action and conversely not taking action. Next slide. So now let's proceed to the 5 main functional areas of management. We have the planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and lastly, controlling. So for planning, or the definition of planning, it is looking ahead. So according to Henry Fayol, drawing up a good plan of action is the hardest of the 5 functions of management because this requires an active participation of the entire organization. With respect to time and implementation, planning must be linked to and coordinated on different levels. Next slide. So, the second one is organizing. An organization can only function well if it's well organized. We all know that we should be organized, provide resources in our business or organization for it to be organized. So, this means that there must be sufficient capital, staff, and raw materials so that the organization can run smoothly. So this means that if your business is organized, your business or organization can run smoothly, and that it can build a good working structure. So next, or the third one, is commanding. Commanding is the process of assigning tasks, or it is called delegation. In a nutshell, manager must command with integrity. To be successful in commanding a team, the manager will also need to be able to communicate very clearly what needs to be done under expectations. So it is the process of delegating the subordinates, or the task, assigning tasks to subordinates. Okay, next slide is coordinating, or the fourth one. Coordinating, there is more to management than simply creating a plan and issuing commands to your team. A manager must also coordinate their team. This coordination must exist between individuals working on tasks and also between functional departments. So, in an organization, there should be coordination. So, an individual working on tasks and some functional departments should coordinate to simply reach the goal of the organization. Next slide. So, the last one is the controlling. Controlling, a manager is also responsible for controlling the work in accordance with the policy of the organization. So, in practice, this means that the manager must establish baseline performance, measure actual performance, and understand how it differs from the baseline. Where appropriate, these deviations should be reported to the manager's manager. Take action. Number 3, take action to correct deviations and to avoid future. So that's the steps or the practice that a manager must do or must apply to control the whole organization. So that's it. That's the 5 main functional areas of management. Number 1 is planning. Number 2, organizing. Number 3, commanding. Number 4, coordinating. And number 5, controlling. Thank you, and let's proceed to the next reporter.